Hi guys, it's Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. I'm delighted to be welcomed by drummer Jack of the Manchester band Steel Mage. Also, I've got Thomas, the bass player. So it's delighted to see you guys. How are you guys doing during the lockdown? Are you at college? Are you working, etc.?
Yeah, phenomenal. I mean, I've started my first day of college today. Well, my induction, and then I start properly next week.
Right.
Other than that, everything's been perfectly fine. Just working on music, demos, practicing.
Yeah. So how's the college working? Is that just like going to be complete online classes? Yeah.
No, there's a COVID secure system at the college, so social distancing, one-way systems, hand sanitizer stuff. You've got to wear masks everywhere. It's easy to get around it, and you do online work as well on Google Hangouts.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? What about yourself, Jack?
Well, I'm back at school on Thursday. I'm the youngest in the band. I turned 15 2 weeks ago, and it's had its pros and cons this time. You know, we've been able to get a lot done as a band in terms of writing. However, it's been quite hard not to be on stage, and you know it can feel unmotivated sometimes. But yeah, I'm back at school on Thursday, which. Yeah, not too looking forward to it, but yeah, got to tough it out.
Well, you had an extended summer holiday this year, so you can't complain, really.
Of course, yeah.
So, just talking about the lockdown, then, have you been using this time constructively and written more songs?
Yeah, we have got a couple of things in the making, as well as just going to Pirate Studios in Salford and rehearsing our set list and tightening things up.
Yeah. So
the songs that we have actually wrote in the lockdown period, we've played one of them twice, which was at the two gigs that we have done, and then we debuted the other song on Sunday at the Alma Inn, and it went down really well.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, again, with the lockdown pretty much still happening here in Scotland, in fact, just within the last hour, that's Glasgow. Had more restrictions put on it. You're not allowed to visit households again. So how are you guys communicating your ideas to each other, the riffs and the songs and whatnot?
Basically, we have a group chat, and we talk a lot on there. Sometimes I'll say, "Oh lads, shall we do a video call this day, this time?" And we'll all join that, get a drink and just start talking about ideas and just having a catch up and stuff. But yeah, I guess that's the power of social media during these times. And then, I mean, Manchester was put into further restrictions, however, they're now eased. But we've been meeting up where we can. But the band surprisingly, they live far away from each other. Like Tom and Tommy live in the same area. It's like a 5-minute walk from each other. Whereas Louis lives in Stoke-on-Trent and I live in Barnsley in South Yorkshire. Yeah. So it can be quite a distance. So apart from that, social media.
Yeah.
To work on new riffs and stuff, we would usually send our ideas to the chat, and if we agree on it, then we'll keep it in mind. We'll learn our own parts. So I'll learn the bass parts of that riff, and then we'll try and put something together. If he sends me, because I use Pro Tools on my PC to put demos together and little things that we work on, and yeah.
So Thomas, does the drummer Jack even come to the chat with ideas and stuff like that? Even a drummer, yeah?
He tells us if he agrees or not, and if he does, then he'll write a drum part on, which is usually phenomenal. Jack is a genius with writing parts because he's not just a metal drummer; he can play all sorts, and he's got a really open mind in terms of where to put certain things. Like he can turn. I don't know how to explain it. He would write drum parts that I would never, ever have thought of. And I really like that because it makes the band really unique, with the blast beats and the different sort of funky riffs and, close hi-hat stuff. And he does do a good job when he's given the opportunity to do a job.
That's excellent. Thanks very much. Thanks very much for that, guys. So Manchester's obviously alive with metal bands and currently it's got a good metal scene. So how did you guys all get together and form the band?
Well, I think I should answer this question.
Yeah.
So, Me and it started with Tommy and Jack at school. No, Tommy and Jack, sorry, Tommy and Max. And by the way, I should point out Tommy's actually sat on my bed there. So
there he is.
Tommy and Max met at school, and they happened to both play instruments, and they decided to form a band. And they did have a bass player, but she was more interested in Army Cadets, I believe. Yeah. So she ended up leaving, and then I started jamming with because I then went on to move schools to Tommy's school through personal issues, and I happened to play bass and drums. So even when Max wasn't there, I'd hop on the drums and we'd jam some riffs, some covers usually. And when Max was there, that's when we would try and work on original stuff, because I'd bring my bass or I'd just use the school's bass. We then came to the conclusion that actually we did want this to be a thing. We didn't want it to be something that was restricted to school. We wanted to make this career. We wanted to make it our life. It was all of our dreams. Not too sure about Max because I don't know what happened to him. He did A-levels. So yeah, we got Louis into the band via social media when we put up a letter saying, well, just a note, saying that, you know, we're looking for a vocalist and lead and rhythm guitarist for our band, and he happened to message us, and we met at Pirate Studio for our first rehearsal a month later or so. I can't quite remember when it was, but straight away we were like, this guy is just perfect. Yes, you're in. Without, like, even on his warm-up, like, we were just like, straight away, yeah, this guy's in. We hadn't played a song. I think we took our instruments out of the bag and stuff, and jammed For Whom the Bell Tolls without even tuning, and it went perfectly nearly the first time.
Yeah.
Anyway, later on, this is how we got to the current lineup. Max was very focused on his A-levels and his education, such as GCSEs. That was the first roadblock for GCSEs. And then the second roadblock was getting to A-levels, because it was obviously 80 levels. I don't know much about them because I'm not taking them, so I don't need to know much about them. But as far as I know, they take up a hell of a lot of time, you know, constantly writing, constantly revising, you know. So we eventually said to him, you know, look, in the nicest way possible, mate, we really want to go places with this, and you've got so much other stuff to do. We're constantly committed. We're constantly rehearsing. You're never on the group chat. You know, we felt like it wasn't something for him because of his A-levels. He wasn't committed. So we just kindly asked him if it's the best decision, and he just said, you know, I mean, all due respect to him, he came to our first gig to support us, you know. He wasn't upset by it. And then Jack came into the band through the same way as Louis did. I put a message on the band account, on the Steel Mage official Instagram account, saying we need a drummer. And he messaged me because I was obviously at the time in charge of the band account. Now Jack's in charge of the band account. We consider him our manager. He does everything for us. But yeah, he messaged me on the band account, and we just, all we had to do was go through his page, and we were like, yeah, just meet us at this place at this time, exactly how it happened with Louis. Just on the warm-up, we were like, yeah, this. But the first rehearsal session, I wasn't there. I was at a Motionless in White concert.
I see. Well, that's brilliant that the band have been together for this time then. So Steel Mage released an EP, The Uprising of Hatred, in April of this year. So how did it feel to put all your blood, sweat and tears and getting the music out there finally?
It was great. I mean, it's been like, I literally say I'm living the dream right now, to be fair, because what I've always wanted to do since a really young age, is be in a band, have music out there, be on stage and just enjoy playing music together. And that's what's going on now. And, you know, no matter if you play in a little teeny pub in front of your parents, or if you're headlining Download Festival, you know, at the end of the day, you're in completely different environments, but you're still doing the same thing, which is enjoying you know, what you love with your mates, you know. And these, you know, the band to me isn't just, you know, my bandmates and I've got mates outside of it. You know, my band is my mates too, and it's, you know, it's really my life, you know what I mean? So it was a great feeling to be able to release something that we'd worked so hard on, you know, with my best mates.
Yeah. So Thomas, see the songs for the EP, were they actually were they all written in the formation of the band that they're in just now, or have these songs been written for some time?
Well, we had riffs and ideas before Jack was in the band, but as soon as Jack joined the band, that's where we decided, right, this is the lineup we're having. And Jack came to the band with a lot of ideas for the riffs that we had, and as soon as he joined, everything just went up. Just everything went up. But we already, the riff that you hear in the song Warrior, I don't know if you've heard that song. Well, Tommy made that song in your bedroom.
Yeah, probably around year 7.
Yeah, so when he was about 11 or 12, he made that riff, and look how far it's come, you know. Yeah, it's phenomenal, and that's a riff that we've always had, but as soon as Jack joined, we took off. I think we more or less had it completed, but we had little things that we changed, and then the rest of the songs were wrote in the studio when we had the time.
Like, the thing is with me as well, the reason why, I felt a little bit bad, to be honest. I felt a little bit guilty coming in and kind of ruling the roost straight away, I guess you could put it like that. But the thing is with me, I'd actually been in bands, you know, 3-4 years prior to being in Steel Mage. I've been in bands like this since, you know, a fairly young age. It's like 11 or something. And, you know, it's kind of been like a trial and error process for me. You know, doing gigs and stuff, which is why I had these ideas which I wanted to bring to Steel Mage. And I've been following Tommy on Instagram for about 2 or 3 years prior, and I was like, you know, this kid's epic. And then obviously Tom I discovered through that, and I thought, like, flipping out, this kid knows what he's doing on the bass, you know. And then I kind of hooked up with Louis last, and I was like, I didn't really find out what Louis was capable of really till after the EP, because the EP is very simple, and it doesn't, I feel like it doesn't, well, how can I put it? It doesn't showcase our full potential. But it was it was certainly a good thing to build our foundation on. But back to that thing about me being in bands, I kind of came here and I was in the group chat. I was added to the group chat of Steel Mage on Instagram. I joined it. I was on the group chat, and we didn't actually rehearse till about 3 or 4 months after that, after I'd been added to the group chat. And there was because there was already a gig booked at a place called Pop Hyde in Hyde, with a band called, we were supporting a band called Tortured Demon alongside an indie band called New Revolution, and it was a good first gig. But anyway, they sent the set on Instagram, and on Instagram, and I was like, and I literally said, lads, what are you playing at? You know, this set was, and because they put intro, like the Uprising of Hatred title track didn't have an actual name. It was just called intro. And so for something, you know, coming on stage to and playing, it needs to be short, snappy, and hook people in. The intro was almost 6 minutes long, and I'm like, lads, what have you got here that is so good to be 6 minutes long? So we shortened it down to 2 minutes 30.
Actually, by chopping it in half, there was loads of other riffs that we actually plan on using in the future at some point.
It was more, to be honest, Ricky, it was more, because they played it me, I'm like, lads, cracky. It was like, you know, you're in your bedroom making these cool riffs. Oh, check this out, dude, I've got a cool riff. Brilliant. All put in a sequence like this. One cool riff, after the next cool riff, after the next cool riff, after the next cool riff, like that. And these were great riffs. It was just like the structure of the song. And then, as it, you know, Warrior was just Warrior, you know, I got to know that. And then Blading Edge, we cut a little bit out too. And then with Beatdown, we didn't really finish writing Beatdown till the week before our first gig. And me and Louis wrote the lyrics. I actually had the lyrics wrote prior for ages when I'd been put in isolation at school. Been a naughty boy, got put in isolation. We're a bit pissed off. So I started writing lyrics, as you do. These came out. Thought, I'm going to keep them in my notes. Got them, whipped them out at rehearsal. Like, we need some quick stuff here, boys. And then I got it out, and then Lou was like, yeah, that's cool. And then, you know, we came up, and I actually slept at Louis' house the night before that, and we were speaking about Beatdown then. So Beatdown lyrics were really me and Lou that just kind of came up with it the week before our first gig.
Let's not forget that Louis did actually forget the lyrics to most of the songs, including the originals on the first gig. So that's just typical.
Yeah, the first gig was very, very bootleg. It's
You
like
just don't.
it's like
Let's
Poundland
just not
versus
talk about it.
it's like Poundland versus Tesco. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
a bit, it was
I
a
don't
bit
know.
it was a bit shit.
So just going away from your EP for a wee second, so you're obviously a very young band in terms of age and the band being together then, so who would you say your influences are?
Well, I'll start. I mean, personally, like as a you know, an individual musician, I'm influenced heavily by not just metal drummers. It's over as you know, as Tom said, I actually rarely play metal at home. I really try and work on my groove based stuff because I feel like, you know, pigeonhole, because it's very, very hard to make it in the metal scene. And I'm not saying we won't, you know, but in case we won't, I need have something to fall back on. So, you know, for example, cruise ships, that's an ideal way of doing what you love and being able to travel the world. You know what I mean? So that's, yeah, exactly. That's just keeping in the pocket, playing groove, simple. You need to know that. It's great. If you can play 300 BPM blast beats, good for you. You'll get the girls, nothing more, right? But, you know, there's a certain saying, and it's, what is it? It's, fills bring the thrills and groove pays the bills. And that's by a drummer called Buddy Rich. And I always stick by that. So, but for individual musicians that influence me, metal-wise, it's Pete Webber from Havoc, Chris Adler, ex-Lamb of God, Alex Lopez from Suicide Silence, and Matt Nichols from Bring Me the Horizon. Whereas stepping outside of the metal genre in terms of drums, some individual artists or session artists, you know, Benny Greb or Mike Johnson or Craig Reynolds and all these amazing like solo independent musicians that I really look up to that are really underrated. But in terms of the band, for the debut EP, we get compared to Annihilator, Pantera and Megadeth, which there's a little story about Annihilator. Well, basically, Jeff, the frontman from Annihilator, his stepson is our graphics manager. He does all, you know, the logo that you see in this cheekiest t-shirt design. You know,
he's not really meant to be wearing that t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm not meant to be wearing this t-shirt because it's not actually released yet. It's a sneak peek of our single art. But oh well, I don't care. It's going to be getting released at some point. But anyway, yeah, he does all that. But for the new stuff, hence this. It's very heavily influenced. I was speaking to Tom when we went to on a walk into the lovely, lovely town of Bolton together to get some a McDonald's. I was like,
an amazing place.
Mate, yeah, well, it's no Victoria Gardens, but it's something. But yeah, and I says to him, mate, what would you say 3 bands that we sound like if you had to choose? And he said, I'd say from the new material, Annihilator are still there a lot because they're not typical thrash, and we've always said we don't want to be typical thrash and we don't want to be thrash. We don't pigeonhole ourselves, you know. I said earlier that we're multi-metal, so we can combine groove, metalcore, thrash, all these great genres. Anyway, Annihilator, Lamb of God, and Trivium. Those 3 bands merged together, plus a hint of our own, obviously, uniqueness, if that's a word.
Louis is heavily influenced by the Lamb of God guitarists, so you'll hear a lot of it.
Yeah.
In terms of my influences, obviously Jack took a while, so I'll try not to be too long. Metal bassists. I'm influenced by people such as Steve Harris.
Yeah.
You know, Danny Horser from Veil of Maya, and I'm actually influenced by non-metal bassists more than metal bassists, to be honest. So like Henrik Linder, Victor Wooten, Felix Pistorius. You know, their techniques are phenomenal. And then my main inspiration, my idol, is Eugene Abdukhanov from Ginger. Just his way of playing, his technique, it's just phenomenal, and it's just so precise and pristine, and just the way he talks about it, it inspires me a lot. And like what Jack said, it's good to have something to fall back onto if you don't work in a metal band, because it's very difficult to earn money. If you want to earn decent money in a metal band, I've heard this from someone and I can't remember who, you've got to be as big as Trivium to earn a decent living without needing to worry about touring all the time and all that.
I'll tell you who said that. And that was a conversation I had. Chris Norton from the band Winterfield, playing Bloodstock, you know, playing these big festivals. Got a day job at WH Smith or something, you know. He's got a Marks and Spencer. I don't even know where he works, but he's got a day job. But he's still playing in this brutal black metal band. You might think, oh, these guys are famous, flipping it. Oh, can I have a signature? But you'll see him walking around with his nan in Tesco. You know, these people have a life behind all this stuff. You know, and you know, I was speaking to him and he was like, yeah, I have a day job. You know, it's no big deal. This is like a side thing for me. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's maybe what we need to do. As long as this band continues to be a part, or if it isn't in a few years for whatever reason, just any band, then that's fine, you know.
That's it. Absolutely spot on. Thanks very much, guys. So going back to the EP then, so how were the songs constructed for the EP? Is Steel Mage a band where all members contribute, or their main songwriters within the band?
Right. Louis writes most of the riffs for our music because he has a very open mind as a musician. He's heavily influenced by, you know, he listens to bands that we've never heard of until he's told us about. But the bands that he is interested in, he's extremely dedicated to and will learn their songs. Like, for example, the band Tesseract, they're a gent band. I don't know if you've heard of them, but
yeah,
he was big on them not too long ago, and he's stopped for some reason. He learned a lot of their songs, and it's made his mind so open, and it's broadened his horizon in so many different ways. But yeah, he writes all the parts, and then Tommy would just learn his part, and then obviously put the solo over it. He will sit and replay the song constantly at his solo. I will have my bass. I try so hard to make bass lines. You're not going to hear it on the EP because that was just to get us out there, you know. That was just to get us off our arses, to say the least. But in the new stuff, you will hear a lot of... Firstly, I've got a new bass, so my tone's going to be different in a good way. So you're going to hear my bass quite a lot because I play very different parts to guitars, and I do a lot of technical shit. Jack just...
I just write my drum parts. What'll happen is it's basically they'll write the riffs, and I'll either say, "Yo, that's brilliant," or "No, that is crap. Get it out right now," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then in terms of lyrics, it's usually me and Louis. Make a FaceTime call, bro. You know,
Snapchat
deep
at
thinking,
5 in the morning.
and we'll just write down his thoughts. Yeah, exactly. He's mad. This is how the lyrics come about. Very mad hours. Me and Louis speaking on whatever social media platform. Dude, what do you think to this for a lyric line? And we'll get all these, we'll put them together. We got I'm not going to say the single name, but that's how we got the lyrics for that. And along with Temper, we did the exact same thing with that. And he's very 50-50 with me and Louis. You know, I mean, I've said it before, I have a very strong, passionate hate for school, and it gives me a lot of good songwriting ideas. So I can just take that detest and put it onto paper and hopefully make some half decent song lyrics out of it.
That's it.
Shout out to the test.
Thanks for that. So who produced the EP for you then, and where was the EP recorded?
It was recorded at Kesbury
Studios in Bolton.
So who produced it for you?
Anthony Booth.
All right, cool. So are there plans to do like videos for the songs, maybe when things get better, or are you going to do something?
Yeah.
Or something?
We were...
possibly, yeah.
You froze a lot there, Jack. Did you say something that I didn't hear?
You froze, bro.
Yeah, you froze too.
Yeah, I think it just messed up. I mean, we were gonna do songs for the videos for the songs for the EP, but
we were thinking of blading.
We're not that band anymore, so we moved on. But we're gonna be doing a lyric video for the new single coming out early next year, though. You know, we're gonna do a lyric video for that, but we're just kind of leaving the EP where it is. We're still playing the songs live and stuff, but we're just kind of like, that happened. Move on to new stuff. You know that. But it's still good. I listen to the EP. You know, I'm not ashamed to say that I enjoy listening to my own band's music because I do. But
so you're
satisfying feeling listening to that, knowing you wrote it.
Yeah, you're saying about the new single that you're hopefully
Say
going.
that again.
You're saying about the new single that you're hopefully going to be putting out at the beginning of next year. What can you say about the difference in the sound? Are you getting faster? Are you getting heavier? Are you getting crunchier? Or how would you say it?
I think the new singles, they will definitely show what we are capable of compared to the EP, because the EP was, as I said before, just to get us up on our feet, just to get our name out there a bit. And then we sat and thought to ourselves, actually, we don't want to be mediocre. We don't want to be typical. We want to stick out and be known for our sound individually compared to everyone else, of course, like every other band one, well, most bands anyway. So yeah, you'll definitely hear an improvement in definitely skill from all of us individually, such as Tommy's solos, Louis' Lamb of God style riffs. I did a clay over sort of 3-finger slap. I do sweep picking on bass and octaves. Then Jack's with his blast beats, and you will see an improvement basically.
Keep the blast beats in, Jack. Keep the blast beats in, mate.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's something that the EP lacked of, I'd say. I mean, you have Beatdown, which is semi-fast. We play it faster live because it sounds better faster. But you have blast beats in the new single, I put them in. Yeah, I had blast beats live. Just they're fun to play, but I don't just play blast beats. I incorporate it with groove, which I play at home, which kind of gives the drums to Steel Mage's music a fairly unique sound that I'd say other metal bands don't have. You have that groove in there. Like in the chorus of the new single, a proper lane to it, and into that sloshy, kind of cymbal stuff, and then I'll kind of break into a blast beat. But yeah, that's it's good.
Keep them in. So since the turn of the year then, things seems to be very settled in the band members front. So how would you say you keep it all together, for example, when negotiating what stays in and what goes out of a song?
You want to ask Tom or me? All right, I'll go for it. So basically, we're all pretty chill as band members. Yeah, that's the one thing about these interviews. You don't know who's going to answer the question, so you just kind of, you're going to answer it, am I going to answer it, going to both answer it, kind of thing. But yeah, we're all pretty chill. We're all good mates, and we all bring our ideas to the table. And it's usually the majority vote, unless every single person in that band is happy with it. Then it won't go in the song. And the specific things that we have in mind when we are writing songs, we have like a criteria that we have. Well, I certainly do in my head what I'm looking for. And if it doesn't fit that, then it's going to be like, do we want to be that mediocre pub little band that just stays there? Or do we want to excel and go on something bigger? Because I want to show that age doesn't matter, because that's something that I'm definitely going to be writing some lyrics about in the future. Is our age. We get a lot of prejudice on our age. Whether it's getting turned away from venues or treated because we're a young band, and it gets a bit annoying.
Yeah.
So we just want to show that we're a young band, and age is just a number. It's we can still make metal music, and we can still be part of the scene.
Yeah, age is just a number.
Definitely going to spark some inspiration in songs.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, unfortunately, guys, there's like 5 minutes for the time left on this. So you recently played a gig at the Manchester Rebellion with your mutual acquaintance, Mr. John Badger. He's obviously more well known for his Badger Fest. So how did this come about, and how strange was it to play in front of no crowd?
Well, I mean, Jack receives all the gigs and emails and stuff like that, and he alerts us about them. He said, guys, what do you think about doing a live stream gig at the Rebellion? And our reaction was, fuck yeah, of course. Why not? Why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We'd been locked in our houses.
And because we've been in lockdown for so long.
Yeah, it was our first gig.
It was our first outing.
It was also kind of rehearsal for us as well, because obviously we hadn't rehearsed for a few months.
Yeah.
Or even seen each other.
Yeah. So how did it feel like getting in the van and getting all your gear and then going to do a sound check and then playing the songs live? It
was great. It was our most professional gig. No people there, but it was one of my favourite gigs. The Badger has a very specific way of organising his events, and he's one of the most, well, I'd say the most professional promoter in the Manchester area, you know. And he has a very set way of doing things, and it was all really well laid out, and it was all really set, you know, because it was kind of almost at a spike, I think, then the corona cases, so he had to be very strict on it. And you know, we played with some great bands, so, you know, shout out to people like Betrayal of Ruin who've supported us, Storm Rider, and then other bands in the scene such as Riptide, Clash Mute, 40k Leagues, Solar Shift, all these brilliant, that could go on. There's some brilliant Manchester bands. Yeah, I listen to mainly underground stuff, actually. Severance, who we played a gig with in Manchester, in March, sorry. You know, all these great guys. It was a great feeling. You really felt somewhat professional getting all your gear.
It brought it all back to us, and yeah, it brought everything back to us, the feeling, the adrenaline. It was our first pro shot as well, so that was like really professional.
Yeah.
Just even having a sound check makes you feel like, oh my God, we're doing it, you know what I mean?
So with the EP and being released in April, then did you actually have bigger plans to gig during the summer and stuff like that?
Yeah, we had a fair few plans, and we kept getting, I kept getting bookings because I do all the bookings of gigs and shows and all that stuff for the band. And you know, we had a lot of stuff coming up. We had like five or six gigs that we had postponed, and we were getting more under our belt, and we were just kind of getting momentum as a band, and it's pretty disheartening for it all to just go. A lot's been postponed. We're filling up the calendar for next year. We've got about five events booked for next year, which is pretty good considering. And we're just gonna take things as it comes. You know, everything happens for a reason. I'm a strong believer of that. And, you know, try and make a positive out of it, you know. Yeah.
Because in 2019, when the official lineup had happened, we were all like, you know, consider how well we're doing now. Well, looking back, you know, before Jack or Louis were in the band, I don't know where we think we were going with it. But it's in 2019 when we had our first rehearsal. I think it was in 2019, wasn't it, when we had our first rehearsal?
Yeah, bro. I think it's gonna cut off now. I think we need to speed it up.
Yeah. No, as we were like, 2020 is gonna be our year. You know, the gigs that we had booked, we just had so much to look forward to, or for it to go down the drain.
Yeah. That's brilliant. I can't believe that we've actually talked for 40 minutes. So then, so what would you say is next for Steel Mage? And if people were to find out about Steel Mage, where would they find you on social media?
Instagram is our...
So they find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Next for Steel Mage, the single that we mentioned, writing more music and demos, releasing more on CD, and introducing a new cassette. We're going to start doing cassettes as well, which I'm really excited about. Me and Tom collect cassettes.
Old school.
Yeah, very old school. Yeah. And just trying to get more of a name for ourselves and building up more, momentum as a band, really. Just main thing is enjoying it.
Do you think you'll do like another EP, or do you think it might be a full length, or that you're looking to do next?
Well, we have an album is the thing that we've got coming next, but we've spoke about a joke EP, but this joke EP is
we've got like some funny names for it, and we were planning on doing it like between album 1 and 2, just because we can, you know,
to show that there's stuff that doesn't get on the album that exists, you know, just the stuff that we do for the laugh.
That's excellent, guys. Look, we're about to run out of time, so I have to end it here, I'm afraid, but it was an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. Awesome. And I wish you guys the best of luck. Any new material, you know where to send it, okay? All right, take care.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Rick. See you later.
Take care, bye-bye.